Hello and welcome to NXTGEN Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to NXTGEN Racing. And welcome to Thursday nights, the GT3s, and this is our 8th season. And on behalf of NXTGEN Racing, a big shout out to our partner, sponsors and affiliates that help put on the show here before we get underway, and they are PowerMax Racing, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsport UK Esports, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design, Falcon and PC, and Doble Motorcycles. This is, as we mentioned, the GT3s, and we're here live from Nürburgring today. 8th season, and we're near the end. There's only 3 races to go in this championship, and they're all of a different format. A sprint race coming up next, then after that will be a feature race, and then the final round of the championship next week will be an endurance round. But a little bit about this series. It's hosted on Thursday nights. I'm Alex Everett, can't even say my name. Alex Everett, your commentator for the series. And yeah, this is traditional GT3 racing, but mixed formats, as we mentioned. There's 20-minute sprint races, 60-minute feature races, and 2-hour endurances. So it puts together all skills that GT3 drivers on iRacing relatively need. And it is a multi-class league, and by that we mean drivers seeded into 3 different categories or classes, as some people like to call them. And this is split based on skill. So the top third of the field typically go into the gold category, the middle third would typically go into the silver category, and the lesser experienced drivers would typically go into the bronze class. And that means it is a series catered for all. And if you want to get involved in this series or any other series that NXTGEN Racing are hosting or will host in the future, if you scan that QR code to the off center of our screen there, that'll give you access to NXTGEN Racing's Discord server. From there you'll meet the drivers, meet the admins, and be able to see all the announcements that come your way via NXTGEN Racing. There's plenty of other leagues on offer. There's the NXTCC starting back up soon for its 10th season, I believe. We've got season 9 of this next year at some point. And there is also just started the Mazda MX-5 league, but there's also other leagues that NXTGEN Racing will host, have hosted, including Legend Series. I think they've hosted Clios in the past. There's all sorts that you can get involved with here at NXTGEN. So this is how it works, but here's where we've been racing and where we are racing, because we still got 2 rounds to go, 3 races to go, but we started off all of them months ago. Oh, this feels like so long ago. It was the end of the summer, and we're now heading straight into winter now. But Fuji International started our season back in August. Then it was round 2 at the Red Bull Ring. The first of 3 endurance rounds was hosted at Spa-Francorchamps, and then we resumed the sprint and feature race format races with Imola and Thruxton to see us out of the first half of the season. See us into the second half of the season was our second endurance round of the championship at Daytona. Still in the States, it was Laguna Seca for round 7 of the championship, and then last week was hosted at the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit, and what a good venue that was actually for this league there last time. I'd love to see Brands Hatch return again in the future. Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit hosts tonight, not the Nordschleife, but the Grand Prix circuit neighbouring the Nordschleife is our final sprint and feature races of the championship. But next week will be the final round of the championship, hosted at the Sebring International, home of the Sebring 12 hours, but it will be home of round 10 for our Sebring 2 hours to end the season, where we could crown some champions. However, there could be some champions crowned tonight. More on that in just a moment. And these are the cars that drivers can race. It is traditional GT3 machinery on iRacing, and plenty of cars to choose from. They include the Acura NSX, the recently released Aston Martin Vantage, the Audi R8 LMS Evo 2, the BMW M4, the Chevrolet Corvette Z06, Ferrari 296, Ford Mustang, Lamborghini Huracan, McLaren 720S, the Mercedes AMG, and the Porsche 911. Drivers can drive any of these cars at the start of the season. However, the Aston Martin is a relatively new car. It came along part-way through this season, and so drivers were given the opportunity to switch to the Aston Martin. However, the same rules applied to switching to that Aston Martin as they do switching to any other car, if you want to switch car during the season, partway through the season, it does incur a 50-point penalty, for which some drivers have taken at points this season, but it's a very, very risky change indeed, because 50 points is more than or equal to, in some scenarios, a whole round's worth of points in best case scenario. So here we go. Trackside here at the Nürburgring. What a great track this is. Hosted many Formula 1 German Grand Prix and European Grand Prix back in the day. But this GP circuit with the fast chicane, it says no chicane, but that is actually a lie. There is a chicane there, albeit a very fast one. But it has hosted DTM, ADAC GT Masters, Formula 1, World Touring Car Championship, to name but a few series that have hosted at this track. In Formula 1, I said this hosted the German Grand Prix and the European Grand Prix. It's also hosted the Eifel Grand Prix, which was the COVID year, I believe, and the Luxembourg Grand Prix. But we're about 152 kilometers west of Frankfurt and about 80 kilometers south of Cologne in West Germany here. And this is the Grand Prix layout, as we mentioned, with the fast chicane, and it does include the Mercedes Arena. This track was built, extended onto the Nordschleife in 1984, but of course the Nordschleife has been around since 1927, and this layout is a 3.2 mile or 5.1 kilometer circuit. So it is very good, proven track for GT3 racing, as we've seen with this series in the past. Actually, it was back in season 6 that we were last at this track, so not very long ago indeed. And I do remember rightly that back 2 seasons ago at this track, at this very round 9 of the championship, was when we were last hosted here. But it was also when Benji McCluskey took the championship in gold category in season 6. And he could seal the championship tonight. It's uncanny, isn't it? So, let's talk about the championship situations as we head into tonight's round. Excuse me, that took a little while to load up, but we've got the gold category first. Benji McCluskey leads the championship by 57 points. If he can maintain a gap of over 52 points by the end of tonight, he will win the championship tonight. Well, Harry Langford is the one that can stop that tonight in second position, and in third place is his teammate Jack Pittas, who has moved up to third in the championship from fifth in last week's round at Brands Hatch. William Guthrie, who entered the season late at Imola, round 4 of the championship, but he's fourth in the championship heading into tonight. He's had a stormer since arriving on the scene, and we're looking forward to seeing what he can do for the rest of the season and maybe future seasons. He sits fourth ahead of Stefan Wessels, who's had a bit of a rotten season, bless him. He had terrible luck in round 1. He had terrible luck at Thruxton, where he disconnected, I believe. So yeah, not quite worked out his way. He got involved in an incident at Daytona, I believe, so he's not going to keep the number 1 on his door. I believe that's official, as he's not racing tonight. He's not able to get home from work soon enough. So a big shame, but hopefully we see Stefan Wessels back fighting in future seasons. Dominic Pester, no longer racing in the series, is 6th position, with Gaz Williams in 7th. Brandon Schmidt 8th, followed by Adam Wilson-Weir and Gavin Gardner in 10th. Silver class next, Brandon Vincent-Squibb. Very similar scenario to Benji McCluskey over in the gold category, but Brandon Vincent-Squibb can win the championship tonight. He has a 50-point gap to Phil McDougall. That gap needs to be over 52 points from Phil McDougall to win the championship tonight. So he has got to do better than Phil McDougall tonight. We'll keep an eye on that. So far so good in practice, actually. Brandon Vincent-Squibb is the fastest silver category driver out there. Phil McDougall, who's really come to form in the recent rounds. He had a good round 2 at Red Bull Ring, but Laguna Seca, it was a near maximum points round, and last time at Brands Hatch he won the sprint race. So he's looking in top form, and he's grabbed hold of second place as we head into the final 3 races of the season. Jason Raff, who's had a breakthrough season, is 3rd in the championship. He'll be looking to hang on to that for the rest of the season ahead of Alan McCain in 4th position, and then Stephen Fry sits in 5th position from Matthew Addy in 6th, Wojciech Kerp in 7th, Bartosz Vokoda in 8th, Matthias Smolny in 9th, and Nigel Stock, who was high up in the championship earlier on in the season, but took a 50-point penalty due to changing cars. He's down in 10th. But without that penalty, he would have been up in the region of 4th or 5th. Now, bronze category next. Oliver Forsström leads the championship tonight, but only by 5 points. His lead has been slashed in the last few rounds. If you look at Brands Hatch and Laguna Seca, a lot of points have been taken out of his lead by Stijn Weytens, who tonight is looking very quick as well. So Stijn Weytens' turn of form in the last few rounds has seen him emerge into the championship contention situation, so look out for them two tonight, battling it out here at Nürburgring. It should go into the next round at Sebring, but let's see what happens. Sami Araba is in 3rd position with Robert Savage in 4th, and Stephen de Grevelia is rounding up the top 5. Jochen Seeger in 6th position from Jonathan Berry in 7th, Elwyn Sykes 8th from Dirk Wagner in 9th, and Zara McGuinness in 10th. Teams Championship next, and it's Quetta Mass Motorsport leading the way at the top. Their lead was pretty good heading into last week's round at Brands Hatch, but it got slashed quite a bit actually as Mission R emerge onto the scene, only 7 points behind as we head into the final 2 rounds, which is really, really close in the Teams Championship. When you think about it, 2 drivers per race contribute points to the team as the 2 highest position drivers of their relative categories. So it's quite a complicated system, but believe me, it keeps things close. CSA Team Woza are 3rd position, followed by Mission R powered by Mords, and a big shout out to Crest Autosport actually, because one, they're my team, but also they have 2 drivers up against the rest, majority of the rest, with 3 drivers, and they're doing well. They're in 5th place. So that's the team's championship and the category championship situations heading into tonight. It's very close. We've got to keep an eye on gold category drivers and silver category drivers. This being one of them, Brandon Vincent-Squibb. He can do it tonight, but he's got work to do. He's got to finish ahead of Phil McDougall. He's got to outscore him tonight. And Benji McCluskey, he's in the pits at the moment, just relaxing before we get underway. Now, whether he can seal it tonight, akin to how he did it 2 seasons ago here at Nürburgring 2 seasons ago. But a couple of drivers out there still practicing, getting a little bit of warming up before we get things underway. We've got just shy of 40 drivers here tonight, so still a pretty big grid. Bigger than last week, actually. Last week was our smallest grid, but it still made for some very, very good racing, actually. Sometimes smaller grids do, but it's the big grids that we want in this championship. There's championship leader in the bronze category, Oliver Forsström. 13th, as you can see, in practice at the moment, but he has only just arrived into the server, actually. So he's getting a quick bit of practice in, and then he'll be straight into qualifying. Our final qualifying session of the series. So, yeah, qualifying is quite a big one, actually, in this series, as it sets the grid for the sprint races, but it sets the overall grid. So they don't start within their categories. They all start in one big gaggle of cars. So it's quite competitive in qualifying and the sprint race, because the further away you can get from your rivals in your category, the more cars there are between you and your rivals in your category. So it's quite useful in terms of protecting your position in your category. However, it can work the opposite way as well. It can be a hindrance to you being in these big mixed grids. But the feature race later on will be a category grouped grid. And it will be based on the results of the sprint race for each category, but reversed. So the winner of each category in the sprint race will start at the back of their category in the feature race. Do you understand? Good, I do too. Few more laps being turned. Now, you might notice that there's a strange order to the timing tower on the left there, and that is genuinely because it automatically puts them in order of who the fastest driver is, essentially, in each of the categories. And Stijn Weytens, in the bronze category, has definitely been putting in the laps between now and last week at Brands Hatch, because he is quicker not only than every bronze category driver, but he's quicker than every silver category driver as well. So it's a bit of a call for him to go into silver category next year, next season maybe. Well, next year technically as well. But it means he's been practicing. Practice makes good, as they say. So we'll see how Stijn Weytens gets on in qualifying shortly. He's in the top 10 overall, and it is the overall standings we will eventually keep an eye on, but we do need to see who gets pole position of each category, because that is important for bonus points. And if the likes of Brandon Vincent-Squibb and Benji McCluskey can do that, well, even the guys battling in the bronze category, Stijn Weytens and Oliver Forsström, if they can get the bonus points, it's going to help them at this point. It's the last chance to get pole position bonus points, which is 1 bonus point. It isn't much, but it is something. So we start qualifying now, excuse me. And all drivers head out onto the track. It's a 2-minute track, so you can get yourself quite a gap from everyone, whereas smaller tracks like we have been racing on, like the likes of Thruxton and Brands Hatch and Laguna Seca, means you are in traffic in qualifying pretty much for the majority of the lap, whereas here it is a relatively narrow track. However, it is a long track, so it means you can separate yourself from other drivers if you need to. The reason I'm saying that is because some drivers like to sit within their teams, or some drivers just like to get a nice clean lap out there. There's a car off on the side there. That is a BMW. That's Dirk Wagner or Jochen Siegert. Nigel Stock is waiting here. I think he's waiting for teammates to come along. Now, it might be one of those tracks where draft is quite effective here, because actually, although it doesn't seem it in Formula 1 terms, because they go so quick around this track, for GT3, slipstream on this track is really important, because there's quite a lot of straight sections and a lot of uphill sections as well. So you go down into turn 8, which is Dunlop curve. The rest of the lap going up to the Vorsteiner curve is uphill, and we've got a few connection issues here, and hopefully that doesn't continue. So drivers heading round. We're going to get our usual onboard lap of the track with our championship leader, which is Benji McCluskey. He's got Gaz Williams in front of him. Now, we have been struggling with the introduction laps this season because the tyres have not been warmed up by the second lap this season, because the tyre model is a little bit more advanced now. However, this is an onboard lap with Benji McCluskey of the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. Down the main straight we go, pit lane to our right. We're going to head into a tight right-hander of first gear, the Haughachen, which is the entry into the Mercedes arena. Nice early apex, keeping the wheel loaded in and getting on the power as soon as it can get in a straight line. Round the Mercedes arena we go. Slight downhill descent here into turn number 3. Mostly first gear corners around this track in actual fact. Second gear very low revs, and you can actually go off the track a little bit on the side there. Now down to the Valvoline curve we go. Left-hander, one of the trickier corners on the circuit, believe it or not. It's so hard to get your speed absolutely right through there and your racing line absolutely right, because you've got to set yourself up for the forward curve just then. Looked pretty good there from Benji McCluskey, nice and smooth. Down to the Dunlop curve, the lowest point of the circuit. In fact, including the Nordschleife, is the lowest point of the circuit. It's a bit of a double apex hairpin. You notice he took one apex at the start and then another one later on in the corner. Get on the curb, and then through the Schumacher S. Nice, barely lifted there. Did he lift at all, in fact? Now as we head under the Goodyear Bridge there, this is the Michelin curve. Work that one out. Left-hander, right-hander. Don't be too impatient on the throttle round the Vorsteiner curve just then. Nice and smooth from Benji McCluskey. Now round the Ad Van Bogen. Flat out here. And then it'll be slight braking into the NGK Chicane, which is the fast chicane variation we're racing today. You can see not many gears gone down there. But the other one, the Formula 1 Grand Prix chicane, it had been down to first gear like we are now around the Coca-Cola curve, or the Hyundai curve as it's now renamed. And that is a lap of the Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. Excellent lap there, I think, from Benji McCluskey. It looked certainly very, very quick. William Guthrie, who's been very quick this season in the full tilt Mustang there. Not such a great lap from him, but it is the first lap of the stint, so not much to worry about. It's the later laps you want to get. Brandon Vincent-Squibb and Stijn Weytens, two of the championship protagonists, both in separate categories. Across the line, they have set valid laps. So Stijn Weytens. Let's see what he can do in this session. Remember, he was quicker than all the silver category drivers and the bronze category drivers in the previous practice session. So see how he gets on here. But Brandon Vincent-Squibb, good start to his qualifying. Top of the standings right now. Not fully representative at the moment because the tyres are not warmed up yet. However, this track is quite intensive on tyres, so tyres will be warmed up about now, I would say. So you've seen the more representative times coming in the next minute or so. Jack Pittas into second place there. He'll be thrilled that he's into the top 3 in the championship heading into tonight, but he's got to keep it. He's got William Guthrie chomping at his heels as William Guthrie is scoring big points after big points after big points this season. That's McCluskey at the front of the field. Purple first sector, so going quicker, but William Guthrie is on a superb lap. Oh, that might have been a bit wide there from Benji McCluskey. Now Guthrie is on a good lap there. He's getting a bit of slipstream from Gaz Williams. No longer. So let's just see how this sector is now. Benji McCluskey with a purple, so he beat his previous. But William Guthrie's going quicker, it seems. Now, Guthrie was quicker in practice. And once we've seen this, we'll go to the silver category and then the bronze category. So McCluskey will cross the line, followed by Guthrie. To the top of the standings goes McCluskey, but Guthrie right behind is now right ahead. Quarter of a second ahead. That's a very, very good lap from Guthrie to lay it down nice and early. Brandon Vincent-Squibb has written off this lap, so he'll go for another, whereas Stijn Weytens has just gone quicker. He's now 8/10 clear of all of his rivals. In 12th place overall, now 13th. Matthew Addy goes quickest in the silver category. He's been a bit quiet this season, has Matthew Addy, but that's a very, very good lap indeed here in qualifying. Other drivers who might be on good laps at the moment, we've got Alan McCain, who's just put himself through and up into 4th place. Craig Tordock, late entrant to this series, has done 3 rounds now, I think. He's up into 5th place in gold category. Matthew Cheverton, welcome back to him. He's up into 5th place in the silver category. And in the bronze category, Sammy Araba is a little bit of an outside contender for the bronze category championship. He will require a little bit of luck if he wants to contend next week, but don't write it off. He's had a few very, very good rounds this season. A couple of wins here and there as well. So let's see what he can get up to. Josh Down, very good lap. Top of the bronze category by 3/4 of a second from Stijn Weytens. That's quite something, actually. He's in amongst the silver category at the moment on the overall standings, which we will switch to around about the 10-minute mark, because remember, it is the overall standings that sets the grid for the sprint race. But we want to keep an eye on the categories as well, because that is mainly the main theme of this championship. Now, not such a good third sector from Guthrie, but every other sector pretty good to me. Let's see how he gets on at the end of this lap. McCluskey will also cross the line. Has gone quicker on that lap, has McCluskey. And he'll go pole. But swiping it back is William Guthrie. But only by exactly 1/10 of a second. So really not that much between them on this long, long track here. Now, Stijn Weytens has just crossed the line with some purple sectors. That's enough to go first in bronze and faster than every silver category driver as well. Stijn Weytens has turned up in qualifying here. That's a superb lap indeed. Matthew Addy crosses the line. Doesn't go any quicker. It looks like an invalid lap actually from Addy, but stays at the top at the moment. Phil McDougall, who's the poster boy today, as you notice on the thumbnail for this video, going for the championship, needs to put in a good round here. Alan McCain to the top of silver category in qualifying here, just ahead it seems of Matthew Cheverton. Welcome back to him in the Aston Martin. It's very strange seeing him in a different car other than the Mustang, but he's just he did put himself into 2nd place, but he's now down to 4th because the times are coming in thick and fast. Nigel Stock was up to 1st, then Jason Raff, who is top 3 in the championship in silvers, has just put himself up into provisional pole position in silver category. Jochen Seeger, good lap in bronze category. Actually, in the last few rounds, Jochen Seeger's form has turned around a little bit. Was quicker at Brands Hatch, but the rest of the season has been very, very quiet indeed. But they're 2nd place right now in bronze category. On his home turf, of course. Home track for himself and his fellow countryman, Dirk Wagner. Mike Riedner also of German residents as well, also racing for the Akuri Col d'Oisseur team. Another lap completed from McCluskey and Guthrie. Both go quicker, but it's Guthrie who is even quicker. It's a 52.8 for him. In fact, McCluskey did not go quicker. He was a tad slower, tiny bit slower. Stijn Weytens has just completed another lap. Brandon Vincent-Squibb is about to complete a lap. But that wasn't quicker for Weytens. It was close though, but what about Brandon Vincent-Squibb? 9th at the moment. Doesn't go higher, but Matthew Addy does go quicker. Provisional pole position now. Matthew Addy's looking quick tonight. Alan McCain's about to cross the line. A couple of good sectors. Is it enough to go higher up the standings? Yes, it is. Up to 2nd place. Half a 10th behind Matthew Addy. I feel like there might be more in the bag for Alan McCain, judging by the sector times. Matthew Cheverton just crossed the line. 3rd place, just behind Matthew Addy, just a 10th down. No longer, though, as Nigel Stock is cooking here. More than a 10th clear of Matthew Addy into provisional pole in the Crest Autosport Corvette. Oliver Forsström now, leader of the Bronze Category Championship. Hasn't set a fully representative time. He has now. He's up to 3rd place. He's about 5 places down from championship rival Stijn Weytens. So, on that note, we will switch to the overall standings, as you can see here. So we've got Weytens, as you can see, 5 places clear of Oliver Forsström, but only 2 places clear in the bronze category. Forsström needs a good night because Weytens has been in superb form recently. Oh, a good time there from Benji McCluskey. He's put himself into pole position. Guthrie went quicker as well, but not enough to go back into pole position. And the two of them inseparable, less than 0.02 of a second between them. Very, very, very exciting indeed. Adam Wilson-Weir, who was fast-tracked from bronze category to gold category, following his dominance in bronze category last season. He's there in 4th place, and actually, as the season's gone by, he has rapidly improved. So, keep an eye on him for next season. Brandon Vincent-Squibb has put himself up to 6th position, but Matthew Addy has gone back into pole position. Ahead of Nigel Stock and into 7th place overall. Remember, it's the overall standings that sets the grid for our sprint race. Oh, Kurt Van Honeker's looking quick as well. Probably the track... well, this or Spa-Francorchamps closest to home for Kurt Van Honeker. And in the Ken Block Mustang livery there, goes up to 2nd in bronze category. Not too far, actually, behind Stijn Weytens. Just 46 thousandths of a second. Oliver Forsström doesn't seem to be on a good lap here. It might be the next one that he'll need to go for. But stays in 4th position at the moment. Well, Ben McCluskey and William Guthrie are carrying on. They seem to be on pretty good laps. Guthrie seems to be on the better of the two, but both of them have not had good 3rd and 4th sectors. Now, will they continue? They haven't been in for new tyres, as far as I'm aware. So let's see what McCluskey can do. Well, actually, that looks better. It is better, but what about William Guthrie? Even better. 1/10 clear of Benji McCluskey. The two are absolutely fighting it out right now. It's superb to watch. And this gives us a good idea of how close the race is going to be between them. Addy's still quickest in the silver category right now. But let's keep an eye on Phil McDougall, who's right behind Matthew Addy. So he's been following Addy's lines all the way around. And following his slipstream, this must be good for Phil McDougall. A couple of... one good sector. Not enough, though. Stays 9th at the moment. 19th overall. So Phil McDougall really does need better than that in this session. But he has got time. And he's got a very good benchmark right ahead of him in Matthew Addy right now. But Alan McCain... the Porsche's on home ground here, and he in that Porsche goes to 2nd into the top 10 overall, but 2nd in category. Kurt Van Honeker has just set another lap. He goes to 15th overall and takes over provisional pole in the bronze category. Stijn Weytens down to second now. A couple of drivers have put laps in. Nigel Stock is back into provisional pole for the silver category. Up at the 7th overall as well. He was looking quick at Brands Hatch last time. Got pushed off the track in the sprint race, but was looking very quick indeed, and he won the feature race. So don't write him off for some wins tonight in this silver category. Oh, McCluskey is responding. Purple third sector and a personal best in 1 and 4. This is looking good from McCluskey. Let's see how he gets on in sector 5. Round the Hyundai curve we go. I prefer to call it the Coca-Cola curve, a much cooler name. But across the line will go McCluskey. Not such a good fourth sector. Oh, it's quicker, but he's still second place. Just 36 thousandths of a second separates the top two. And we cannot forget Harry Langford. He's going for the championship. He's trying to prevent it as much as he can. He needs to outscore Benji McCluskey tonight. And I feel his best opportunity may come in the feature race. But it might be slipping away for Langford here. However, second place. It's probably the place. Well, it is. Take it from me. It's not the place. It's the least favourite place you want to finish in a championship. But it's still pretty good, you got to say, for Langford this season. Finishing second. And Phil McDougall has put himself up some more positions, up to 12th, 5th place in category. He's ahead of his rival, Brandon Vincent-Squibb, which is quite important. As Alan McCain has gone quicker, he's up into 1st place in category now. Provisional pole is going to one of the Crest Autosport drivers at the moment, unless Matthew Addy can respond. Let's see if Nigel Stock can respond. Not going off those sector times. Nope, he'll stay where he is, and I think that might have been a lap that was either invalid or 1 second slower than his personal best. So, right off lap. The bronze category, Kurt Van Hoeniger has turned up here. Let's see if Stijn Weytens can respond. We have got 3 and a bit minutes to go in the session. And we have got the sprint race following this qualifying session immediately. William Guthrie seems to be on a quick 3rd and 4th. McCluskey's not. So this might be another dagger into the hopes of McCluskey's pole position here. Although McCluskey knows he doesn't really need it. Or was that a bit too wide for William Guthrie? I'm not too sure. It was a little bit slower than his best. It's about half a tenth slower. Not much at all. But I would say these two have got, well, they have got 2 more laps that they can do. Can Nigel Stock take back provisional pole? Brandon Vincent-Squibb is getting quicker and quicker. He's up to 4th place in category, just outside the top 10 overall here. But he's ahead of his rival, Phil McDougall. He's got himself ahead of him. That's what he needs to do tonight. Now, it's a bit hard to predict how the points are going to end up at the end of the night with drop rounds. But you can almost say that if Brandon Vincent-Squibb outscores Phil McDougall tonight, he probably will take the championship. It's going to be an asterisk next to everything tonight, trust me. Now, that was a personal best from Nigel Stock, but not enough to put him into pole position. He's still in second, but is going quicker. Okay. Oliver Forsström about to cross the line. Not a bad 1st and 4th sector from Oliver Forsström. 24th at the moment. Does go quicker, but stays in 24th, 4th place in bronze category. Guthrie quicker in 1st and 4th sector. Benji McCluskey done alright in the 4th sector. It is slower, but William Guthrie has gone quicker. He's pulled away even more from Benji McCluskey. It's now up to near 3/4 of a tenth. Huge gaps, isn't it? Super close between them two. On what is quite a long track, actually, this season. one of the longer tracks of the season in terms of lap time, with the exception of maybe Spa-Francorchamps. Brandon Vincent-Squibb has just gone a bit quicker, but stays in 11th. And we're now approaching the point where drivers are going to be finishing off their laps. Alan McCain might be able to go for another here. He will, if he can squeeze in another. But we have got drivers crossing the line now who will miss out. Seeger just about gets it. Jonathan Berry just about gets it. I think Rob Savage made it, but Matthew Cheverton will not make it. He'll take to the checkered flag, and that's it for him. Same with whoever was behind Matthew Cheverton there. I thought it was Nigel Stock, but Matthew Addy, but it wasn't. Nigel Stock has just crossed the line. He's finished qualifying. He will not go quicker, so at the moment it's going in the hands of Alan McCain unless any other silver category driver can respond. A couple of drivers have aborted. Oh, Benji McCluskey and Guthrie are still going quicker. They're the next to take to the line, so let's just check on them. Also, we wait for other drivers. The bronze category drivers are pretty much done. So pole position is going to be Kurt Van Hooniger, but Stijn Weytens the highest of the two championship contenders in that category. Here comes McCluskey. That looked a bit wide then. It's not quicker, but what's about William Guthrie? Oh dear. 5 thousandths of a second slower. Come on, William. Pull your finger out. That's super close, but it will go to William Guthrie. He'll be pole position in the gold category, whereas silver category, it could be going Alan McCain's way. He's just continuing here, just to make sure. But Brandon Vincent-Squibb, nope, he won't do it. And looks like he's shaking his car in a little bit of frustration then. 4th place to be for him, 11th place, but he's ahead of his championship rival, which is what he needs to worry or not worry about. And no improved time then from Matthew Addy, but still a very good qualifying position of 3rd. And I believe that is qualifying done and dusted. So our pole sitters are William Guthrie in the gold category, Alan McCain in the silver category, and Kurt Van Hooniger in the bronze category. And I believe it's Kurt Van Hooniger's first pole position of the season, and likewise with Alan McCain in silvers. I believe, anyway. But in terms of stats, lots of drivers with multiple race wins this season. Stefan Vessels and Dominic Pester have won 4 races each in the gold category. However, William Guthrie and Benji McCluskey can equal or better that tonight. In the silver category, the most winningest driver is Phil McDougall at this point on 5 wins. And championship leader Brandon Vincent-Squibb, only 2 sprint race wins to his name. And in the bronze category, it's 4 sprint race wins this season for Stijn Weytens. He's 2nd place now, but don't write him off for maybe another. And Kurt Van Hooniger has not won a race this season. And he sits pole for this opening race of the night. And for this opening race of the night, let's go through the grid. William Guthrie will line up on pole position, with Benji McCluskey, championship leader and maybe champion-elect tonight, sits 2nd. Harry Langford is 3rd from Gaz Williams in 4th position. Adam Wilson-Weir 5th from Jack Pittas, and first of the silver category drivers, it's Alan McCain in 7th with Nigel Stock alongside. Matthew Addy is 9th with Ben Altria in 10th alongside. Rounding off the top 12 is Brandon Vincent-Squibb, championship leader of silvers, and Jason Raff in 12th. 13th is Phil McDougall, going for the championship tonight and next week, potentially, with Craig Tordock alongside him 14th. Jamie Dory 15th from Matthew Cheverton in 16th. 17th is Bartosz Bakoda, with Kurt Van Hooniger. Pole position of the bronze category is in 18th. 19th is Paul Williams from Mark Baker in 20th. Stijn Weytens will start 21st with Josh Down alongside in 22nd. 23rd is John Berry from Stephen Fry in 24th. 25th is Oliver Forsström, championship leader of the bronze category, with Dirk Wagner on home turf tonight is 26th. Gabriel Papaconstantino is 27th from Jochen Seeger in 28th. Wojciech Kurp in 29th from Mark Sykes, Mr. NXTGEN himself, in 30th. Robert Savage is 31st from Mike Riedner in 32nd. Wesley Lewin and Sammy Araba line up on the 17th row. 18th row taken up by debutant tonight, Andrew Allen and Matt Gatter in 36th. And the rest of the grid is Jaroslav Pataluk in 37th with his teammate Fabian Kazielek in 38th. We're about to get underway. It's a very short formation lap, or third of a lap, to the line, and then we'll get underway with this sprint race. Guthrie leads us off behind the pace car. Oh, and a little bit eager to get off the line there was Harry Langford, nearly going into the back of Guthrie there, do excuse me. It is Guthrie who's leading us off the line as he is pole position. Now, it is not like iRacing where you can just put your foot down as soon as the pace car peels off. You have to wait till the marshal waves the green flag, and that's when you can get underway for racing here in this series. All drivers start together for this race, but later on in the night we're going to have 3 separate grids for the 3 separate categories. This will be a collective dash to one of the slowest first corners on the calendar. Guthrie leads us to the line. McCluskey has pulled ahead a little bit there, but Guthrie puts the foot down and he pulls away for the start of this sprint race. Down to turn number 1 we go, all together as we head into this corner, and it's 4 wide already in the middle with Alan McCain on the inside of all of them, and they're trying to tip their way through, but there is sideways there for Jack Pittas further back in the pack as he's getting mauled by other drivers around him as well. Nigel Stock getting past him. In the bronze category, they're going to see it all unfold before them first, before anyone. Oh, and there is a spin in the mid-pack there. There's quite a few cars involved. That's Craig Tordock in the middle, and there's cars approaching the scene. I think that's Stijn Weytens on his roof back there. And I think there's going to be a safety car here, or full course caution, as there's cars everywhere out there. A lot of the bronze category are collected in that. Brandon Vincent-Squibb has been involved in that as well. He's a long way down in 13th now. But we continue on. William Guthrie at the front here from Benji McCluskey, and right behind is Harry Langford. Alan McCain with a great start to this race. He's 5th place. He's up 2 places from the start. And Nigel Stock has snuck through as well. Matthew Sheraton is up 8 places from the start and is up 8th place right now. Phil McDougall, championship rival to Brandon Vincent-Squibb. He'll have a little smile on his face seeing him further down the order as he sits 4th here. He needs the points. He needs them on Brandon Vincent-Squibb to head into next week. Now, are we going to get a safety car / full course caution? We'll have to find out. I'd be surprised if we don't, because there was a lot of cars off in the middle there. And as we cross the line to start a new lap here at Nürburgring, we haven't got a full course caution. We'll carry on. Guthrie leads us at the end of lap 1. But with McCluskey right behind now. Is McCluskey going to challenge for this? He's got a championship to think about, and he can do it tonight. He's got his rival right behind him there. Silver category, McCain leads. Nigel Stock 2 places overall behind. And Kurt Van Hoeniger is highest of the bronze category. Now, Oliver Forsström is up to 2nd place in bronze category. Behave. Whereas Stijn Weytens is in the pits. He was upside down in that kerfuffle that was happening in the Mercedes arena at the start of the race. And we will check the replay at the end of this race to see exactly what happened. What exactly happened on that lap 1. But it has scuppered the chances of Stijn Weytens, and that will put things in the favour of Oliver Forsström, particularly the way things are going right now. But we'll see how the points will end up being at the end of the night. Guthrie's pulled away ever so slightly from McCluskey on the last half a lap or so. Half a second clear, and Harry Langford is hanging on to the back of these two. Alan McCain had a little mistake heading out of the Vorsteiner curve. He drops down to 6th position. He still leads the silver category though from his teammate Nigel Stock behind. He will switch to the category standards because that's how they score points in this championship. Quite important that we keep an eye on that. Looks a pretty good lead for Kurt van Honecker at the moment. 12th place overall right now, and a long way clear of Oliver Forsström, 7 seconds clear. So if he can keep it on the straight and narrow, he's looking good here for his first bronze category win of the season. And this is in fact our last sprint race of the season, ladies and gentlemen. We've already had our last qualifying session of the season actually. We should have given it a better goodbye earlier, but our last sprint race, so enjoy it. No more hectic starts like what we had just seen. And Stephen Fry is taking a spin there at the hairpin. Let's just get a quick replay of that, and Oliver Forsström might have just caught the back end of that. Someone to the inside of Stephen Fry just completely T-bones him. I think that was Wojciech Kerp. And Oliver Forsström had to evade off the side of the track there. You can see that was a very wide berth there from Forsström just to make sure that he got around that instant. But Stephen Fry there will feel a bit of grief to that instant that just happened there. He was turning into the corner and all of a sudden a big whack on the side. Matthew Cheverton, good to see him back. Phil McDougall right behind him in 4th place. He knows he just needs to score more points than his rival tonight to keep the championship going to Sebring next week. And then at Sebring next week, there's no more drop rounds. And if you retire from Sebring next week, that's it. Nil points if you do not finish. We saw that from Benji McCluskey last time. He did technically finish the endurance last time out, but he was beaten by every other gold category driver that finished because his last lap he disconnected, therefore it counted as a half finish. Quite hard to explain that scenario really, but that's what happened in his championship situation last season, and what I'm saying is it can happen this season. And Phil McDougall there, fastest lap of the silver category. That's a bonus point for him in this race. That's what he needs. Points, points, points. His rival, however, Brandon Vincent-Squibb, is here in 11th. He's about to try a move for 10th place. He's going to take a daring move if he'll let us watch it. And there we go. Into the hairpin, and Stephen Fry not letting him get away with that. But through will go Brandon Vincent-Squibb into 10th place. Just up ahead is 2nd place. Oliver Forsström out on his billy a little bit in bronze category there, but he'll take that because that is points for him that he crucially needs. Guthrie's pulled away a little bit more from Benji McCluskey. Is now a near 1 second lead, and McCluskey's under a little bit of pressure from Harry Langford, but Langford has got to do anything he can to get ahead of Benji McCluskey and score more points than McCluskey tonight. Like I said earlier, his best bet is going to be the feature race, but he'll want to get in front of McCluskey here to try and keep things going to Sebring next week. Sebring next week is going to be live from 20 minutes to 8, as it usually is UK time, next week on the 13th of November. And that is going to be our final race of the season, a 2-hour singular endurance at Sebring. Getting closer in silver category for 2nd place here. We've got Nigel Stock at the head of this pack. And he is just ahead of Matthew Cheverton and Phil McDougall in the green Mercedes. One of 2 Mercedes in the field, actually, so it's good to see rare cars making an appearance, like the Corvette, driven by Nigel Stock, like the Mercedes, driven by Phil McDougall. No Acuras in the field, which is a bit of a shame. But there is quite a good mix of cars. The only cars that in the GT3 pack that are eligible to race in this series that are not actually here are the Audi Whoa, a big slide there from Phil McDougall. But yeah, the Audi and the Acura are not represented in this series, which is a bit of a shame. But Mustangs are plenty, as you can see, in the top 4 in the gold category here. And one leading the bronze as well. It is the more favoured car. It's got a long wheelbase, it's quite wide, it's got quite good grunt down the straights as well, has the Mustang. It's one of my favourite cars to drive in the GT3s as well. I used to enjoy the BMW as well, but I feel of late, not so much. Harry Langford holds the fastest lap in the race at the moment. He set it on the last lap, just a smidge quicker than William Guthrie, but he holds the bonus points. That'll help. That'll certainly help to try and keep things alive going into next week. But what we have seen time and time again from these gold category drivers, they find it so difficult to overtake one another because they're so close and they're on the absolute edge of what they can do. Phil McDougall, fastest lap of the race in silver category. Got a bit of help with Nigel Stock right in front of him. He's being pushed along a little bit. No, he's not, sorry. He's getting a good tow from 2 cars ahead of him, is Phil McDougall, do excuse me. And fastest lap of the race from Oliver Forsström now. Oh, is this getting a little bit hairy ahead of him between Wojciech Kurp and Brandon Vincent-Squibb. Brandon Vincent-Squibb trying to regain some positions for his championship, but Oliver Forsström getting the fastest lap of the race for his championship's sake. In second place there, that's more points above Stijn Weytens, who has rejoined the race. Now the thing is, if Stijn Weytens finishes the race within a certain amount of laps, which I think he might do. In fact, I think Stijn Weytens is still on the lead lap, just about. Yeah, I think Stijn Weytens will be okay, which means Stijn might be able to start at the front for the next race, the feature race, which is a big advantage. So it means Oliver Forsström will have it all to do in the feature race to keep the points margin tight for tonight, or at least in his favour. "11 minutes expired in this race. A few more to go. Drivers will be keeping an eye on their tyres throughout this session. Oh, as we're seeing Mark Baker off the track there. Let's just see what happened to him. To tell who that is behind him. Car getting a bit out of shape through the corner, and it just eventually gave way on him. And that's enough to send him round. Now on that last lap, Benji McCluskey was the fastest one on the track. Sets the fastest lap, gets the bonus point for, well, holds the bonus point at the moment. And Matthew Cheverton has done the same in silver category. He's taken it away from Phil McDougall, and he's right behind Nigel Stock right now. There's a Crest Autosport 1-2 at the moment, and that means good points for them in their championship, for the team's championship. That's what they're fighting for. They're both representing Crest Autosport Porsche. One of them's driving the Corvette. Work that one out. But both of them getting 1 and 2 means almost as high a points you can get as a team. So it would be good for them in their championship. But there's a lot of the drivers thinking about their drivers' championship right now. McCain leads silvers from stock. Cheverton behind. And Phil McDougall just there. This is the view from Matthew Cheverton's passenger seat. And the thing is, I failed to mention it earlier, but it's a fixed setup series as well. So you can't get the advantage via setup or anything like that. Everyone drives the same setups per car, that is. So it's purely down to driver skill to get the better of one another. Fastest lap of the race for Harry Langford. He takes back the bonus point. And we did notice this in qualifying. The track just gets quicker and quicker and quicker as the session goes by. We saw that in qualifying. We're seeing it here in the race. Right onto the bumper of Nigel Stock there, going through the hairpin was Matthew Cheverton. They're both taking very different lines. Nigel Stock's taking later apexes, apart from that corner there. But they are taking very different lines. You tend to do that when you're following another driver. You tend to use different lines in order to try and get the better of the driver in front. You take later apexes, you try and take more curb. Oh, Phil McDougall has got a black flag there. Now, is that a slow down penalty? I believe it will be. Oh, it's not going away, so... Let's keep an eye on Phil McDougall here. He's got to shake off that black flag if it is a slow down penalty. If not, it will be a drive-through penalty for him, and that really, really will spoil things for him. Brandon Vincent-Squibb's up to 8th place now. You can see him on the standings. I don't think, it's not a slow-down penalty. Phil McDougall, we might see him coming into the pits here. He might have expired the amount of off-tracks that he's got. But also, look at this. This is Oliver Forsström in the midst of big battles here. Oh, look at that. Oliver Forsström on the inside just trying to stay out of trouble, but it's Mark Baker behind. Wesley Lewin, Jack Pittas, Robert Savage and Dirk Wagner just following Oliver Forsström here. Now, Jochen Seeger has got himself in front and into 2nd place. But this is a huge trail of cars here. As low down as 20th position this starts. Still out on the track is Phil McDougall with that black flag. Whoa, and a big dive to the inside from Mark Baker. Forsström avoids by going mid-track outside. But Mark Baker has got it alongside. Might he be able to outbrake Forsström going into the hairpin? No, the momentum out of the corner was not good enough. He's going to have to tuck in behind, and he's under a bit of pressure here from Wesley Lewin. Whoa, there goes Wesley Lewin. He takes 2 in one zone there, unless anyone can respond. No, they can't. Wesley Lewin takes 2 places in one corner, but Forsström has lost 2 places in one corner there. Oh, as round goes Rob Savage. In the bronze category, he loses loads of positions, but Oliver Forsström is a bit of a sitting duck here. He's now, his podium position is under a little bit of threat with Mark Sykes lurking behind him. Oliver Forsström under a bit of pressure here to hang on to his bronze category podium. He's got teammate Jack Pittas, who's involved in that lap 1 incident, up ahead to help him. Stock has broke away from Matthew Cheverton a little bit. These 3 have divvied up a little bit, and Alan McCain setting the fastest lap of the race just then. Takes back the bonus point from Cheverton, I believe it was. And Guthrie is cleared 1 second from McCluskey, who's still under a lot of pressure from Harry Langford here. There'll be about 2 laps remaining for these drivers in this race. And don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we have got the feature race up next. We will have a break between this sprint race and the feature race. Now, Phil McDougall still has the black flag. He'll have to serve that before the end of the race. Now, I wonder if he's going to try and serve it on the final lap. Bit of Schumacher-style penalty serving there. But you have to serve it within 3 laps. That's the rules on iRacing, and that's the rules with most league racing as well. So you'll get this, keep this going as long as he possibly can. Keep an eye on Phil McDougall, see what he does at the end of this lap. It will be the white flag this time around for the drivers. And we will review the lap 1 instance on replay after the race, just to kind of see what happened. A little bit of noise in Discord now. If you want to get on Discord, ladies and gentlemen, there's a link in the description of this video. There we go. Phil McDougall will now serve his black flag, which I believe is a stop and go penalty. And I think he's expired the instant point limit. So this might put things back in favour for Brandon Vincent-Squibb. He might already know, he might have crew chief telling him a driver has received a black flag. And you'll see him pass by Phil McDougall now, who's still in his box. And that's it. Brandon Vincent-Squibb will pass by for the better position. So that's points outscored tonight already. But Phil McDougall will hold the better position for the next race if he can get himself back out on the track, which he does. He's dropped down to 12th place, and I think that's what it's going to be. But it might well be pole position for the next race. But no points lost for William Guthrie, the driver who turned up latest in this season. Is about to take his 4th win of the season, will become tied the most winningest driver. I know that's not the word, but he'll become the driver with the most wins in gold, tied the most wins in gold category of 4. Is his first sprint race win of the season if he can get through the final chicane and final curve. He now has every format under his belt as a win with this sprint race. William Guthrie takes win number 4 of the season for himself. The final sprint race of the year is won by him. And McCluskey crossed the line in 2nd place. More points scored on his rivals. One hand on the trophy, which he can secure in the next race. And Harry Langford, 3rd place, going for 2nd in the championship. That'll put one hand on that, being a good result tonight in this race. Alan McCain will take another win for himself. This season, it'll be win number 2 of the season for him. And his teammate Nigel Stock right behind, meaning great points for Crest Autosport in the team's championship. And Matthew Cheverton, 3rd place, takes the bonus points for fastest lap on that final lap just then. Kurt Van Honegger, a dominant race in the bronze category there. 12-second gap, he'll take the bronze category win. And his first of the season. 2nd place will be Jochen Siegert for a result that resembles a result from a few races ago where he also got 2nd place. Much improved at this part of the season for Jochen Siegert. Great to see him up there. And Oliver Forsström, championship leader in bronze category. Lots of points scored on his rival Stijn Weytens in that race. He crosses the line in 3rd place in bronze category. Well, quite the eventful race, including lap 1, which we'll go and look at very, very shortly. But once we get them, we'll review the results of this opening race of the night, the sprint race. No results yet. Taking its sweet time. There we go. So these are the provisional results of our opening race of the night. And we'll start with gold category. It's William Guthrie winning this sprint race. And in 2nd place is Benji McCluskey with Harry Langford behind in 3rd. Gaz Williams 4th from Adam Wilson-Weir in 5th position. A good result for him. Jamie Dory 6th from Ben Altria. Jack Petas and Craig Tordock rounding off the finishes in the gold category. Silver category next, and it is a win for Alan McCain, with Nigel Stock, his teammate, just behind in second. Matthew Cheverton third, from Bartosz Makoda in fourth position. Jason Raff is fifth. From Paul Williams in sixth. Championship leader heading into tonight, Brandon Vincent-Squibb does recover to seventh place, and a good recovery, it must be said, from that. Wojciech Kerp is 8th position from Mark Baker in 9th. Wesley Lewin in 10th from Phil McDougall, who had to serve that drive-through and stop-and-go penalty on the penultimate lap. He finished 11th, and he may well get first, or I believe it's third on the grid for the feature race. Stephen Fry is 12th from Mike Reedner, and a DNF for Matthew Addy, who was caught up in the lap 1 incident. Bronze category, and it's a dominant win for Kurt Van Honecker. Qualifying looked good for him, and the race looked even better, it seemed. 12-second gap for him in the Mustang. Jochen Seeger on home turf gets a podium in this sprint race, and just behind him is championship leader Oliver Forsström, 3rd place. Mark Sykes, 4th position from Dirk Wagner, also on home turf tonight. Gabriel Papaconstantino finishes 6th position from Rob Savage. Josh Down is in 8th place from debutant tonight. Andrew Allen. Fabian Kozielek in 10th position. 11th place is Sammy Araba. Jonathan Berry in 12th. Stijn Weytens does finish the race, but in 13th, 1 lap down, as does Matt Gatter. And I believe it might be a DNF for Yaroslav Patolok. Right, so let's head back in time for the replay of the start of this race, and we'll keep an eye on what actually happened to cause that incident at the start of the race. Okay, so I think this is around about where it started in the mid-pack here, so we'll just see what happens. Just turn the volume down a little bit. So here we go, look at that, 4 wide ahead of us, potentially 5 wide at some point. That starts there with a half spin from Pittas, but we managed to get away with it. And a lot of concertina ring in the pack there. Oh, and there's a big dive there. I think that was Ben Outry, actually. A big dive on... I think that was Tordock. And that's what caused it all to happen ahead. Right, let's just... Ben Outry will go to the inside here. Well, Tordock will go to the inside of one of the Quatermass cars, but here comes Ben Outry just late on the brakes. Just late on the brakes. And that's what started it all off. Now, we did see Stijn Weytens here with the yellow stripe down the middle of his car there. It was upside down from that. And there we go. It's just stopped right ahead of him, and everyone goes piling into him as he goes piling into everyone else. It'd be a pretty scary crash in real life. There we go. That's what puts him on his roof. And all these drivers not able to avoid it. Yeah, a lot of damaged cars from that. So there we go. That's what happened on lap 1 pretty much. We're going to go for a quick break, ladies and gentlemen. When we come back, it's going to be the final feature race of the season. A 60-minute race, which will involve at least 1 pit stop. We'll be back at approximately 10 minutes past the hour for the start of that race. So enjoy some Benji Sim photos from the last round at Brands Hatch. And we'll come back with some good action after the break.
Hello and welcome to Next Gen Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all. Hello and welcome to NXTGEN Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to NXTGEN Racing live at Nürburgring for round 9 of the championship. Got the feature race coming up for you next very shortly. And then next week, it is the final round of the championship. Some championships can be decided tonight. So, without going into our usual spiel that we go into, let's review the championship standings as we head into this final race of the night, the penultimate race of the season. This is the situation in gold category. It is a healthy lead for Benji McCluskey, 57-point lead. Still at the top of the championship. He can do it in this race. He just merely needs to finish ahead of Harry Langford and he'll do it. Silver category. It is still very close between excuse me. There we go. Excuse me. It's still very close. Very far actually between Brandon Vincent-Squibb and Phil McDougall. It is a 62-point gap. Because of that previous race just then, it really does make things all the more possible for Brandon Vincent-Squibb to secure it in this race. Again, he merely needs to finish ahead of Phil McDougall, but Phil McDougall is starting far up the grid in this order, so it's all to be done by Brandon Vincent-Squibb in this next race. And just going back to the gold category, yep, a just shy of 60-point gap is actually 59 points. So again, it just needs to be a finish ahead job for Benji McCluskey and Brandon Vincent-Squibb. But I feel it's going to be tougher for Brandon Vincent-Squibb to do that in this race. So as we go trackside, it's all to be done in those two categories. And we'll find out after the race. The points get updated fairly quickly in this series, which is great to have as a commentator. But history beckons for McCluskey to become a champion yet again in NXTGEN. And Brandon Vincent-Squibb in his opening season to become champion of silver category. Bronze category is still up for grabs between Forsström, Oliver Forsström that is, and Stijn Weytens. Stijn Weytens will be starting far up the grid in this race. So it's going to be a very interesting feature race. It's going to be drivers wanting to get through the grid as best as they can. Drivers trying to keep out of trouble on that opening lap. We saw so much trouble on that opening lap in the previous race, but that's when all drivers started together. Now they're all separated into their categories for the start of this race. It'd be the gold starting first in their group, then the silver's about 5 to 10 seconds later, and then the bronze category 5 to 10 seconds later. So without further ado, we're going to get ready for the feature race, the final feature race of the season. 60-minute race, which will feature one scheduled pit stop. And it'll be our final one of the season. And then next week, we're off to Sebring for a singular 2-hour endurance to end it all. We start with the gold category. And it is Craig Tordock starting on pole position for the gold category, with Jack Pittas alongside. Ben Outra and Jamie Dory will start on the second row, with Adam Wilson-Weir and Gaz Williams starting on the third row. Fourth row taken up by Harry Langford and Benji McCluskey. The winner of the previous race, William Guthrie, will start ninth. Silver category, Mike Reedner starts at the front with Stephen Fry alongside in second. Phil McDougall, who had that drive-through and stop-and-go penalty in the previous race, will start third. He's got to win this race and finish as far ahead of Brandon Vincent-Squibb as he can. Fourth place is Wesley Lewin, with Mark Baker in fifth position from Wojciech Kerp in sixth. Brandon Vincent-Squibb will start seventh position, with Paul Williams in eighth. Jason Raff ninth from Bartosz Pakoda. Matthew Cheverton in 11th from Nigel Stock. Alan McCain and Matthew Addy will line up at the back of the silver grid. Matt Gatter will line up on pole position for the bronze category, with Stijn Weytens starting in second position. Jonathan Berry will start third with his teammate Sammy Araba alongside. Fabian Kozielek will start fifth from Andrew Allen. Josh Down in seventh from Robert Savage in eighth. Gabriel Papaconstantino in ninth with Dirk Wagner alongside. Mark Sykes 11th with championship leader Oliver Forsström in 12th. Jochen Seeger will start in 13th with Kurt Van Honecker, the winner of race 1, starting 14th. And Jaroslav Pataluk start at the back of the bronze category. 38 drivers out there, and as we head towards the start-finish line, all categories will start together. And it's quite a small gold category, only 9 drivers, but 14 to 15 drivers in silver and bronze each. So here we go, we're heading towards the line. Craig Tordock has to hold his speed until the marshals wave green. And away we go. The start of the gold category is now. And let's see if William Guthrie can go through the pack quite quick like he did last time at Brands Hatch. It only took him 4 laps to get to the front of the gold category grid. They're through relative clean the start of this. Mike Reedner has shot off into the distance. I don't think he's waited for the marshal, but he'll lead everyone into turn number 1 first. Phil McDougall is 3rd there. Brandon Vincent-Squibb is already up to 5th place and might be progressing up to 4th place straight away. He's got the inside for the next corner. Bronze category is off and away, and there is contact at the back. There are spinners, but it's Stijn Weytens, one of the championship protagonists, who's off and away in 1st place at the head of the bronze category grid. Oliver Forsström is in 12th position. He might have had to have avoided that incident just then. But gold category resumes on. Craig Tordock will lead the way here. And look at the back of this. It's William Guthrie behind McCluskey and behind Harry Langford, who took to the inside of Gaz Williams. Gaz Williams had to stay on the outside of the hairpin to avoid that. He's got a bit of gravel on the outside there. That's going to give Langford a bit of a run. But Gaz Williams has the better line through the Schumacher S. Any moves from these? Gaz Williams guards the inside. Langford needs positions on McCluskey to try and get the championship hopefuls. Keep it in his hands. Keep it in his grasp, should we say. But Jack Pittas has taken the lead of this race. Craig Tordock has ended up falling down the order a little bit there. Down to 3rd place he goes. Meanwhile, in the silver category, Stephen Fry has got past Mike Reedner, who's falling down a few positions here. All cars swerving around him. But Brandon Vincent-Squibb is already up into 3rd place. It's a great start to the race for him. Phil McDougall, his championship rival's right behind him. And as we look into the Hyundai curve, Brandon Vincent-Squibb did think about it, but thought, no, he's not going to do it. Phil McDougall is going to need to do something here. Brandon Vincent-Squibb right behind him as it stands. Vincent-Squibb will win the championship. Oh, look at this in gold category. The File battling it out again, and Adam Wilson-Weir might be pulled into this battle as well. That's Gaz Williams past Adam Wilson-Weir, but look at this. It's McCluskey on the outside of Guthrie. Guthrie on the inside of McCluskey. McCluskey's going to have the better line for this corner. Guthrie pulls back in behind McCluskey, but Gaz Williams has got past Adam Wilson-Weir up 1 place, further ahead of Langford and McCluskey and Guthrie now. Now there is a black flag there from Mike Reedner, and that might be manually applied by the race director for the false start he may have had. But Stephen Fry leads this race. This is Crest Motorsport teammates who won race 1 with a 1-2 in silver category. Can he do it in race 2 here? He has got one of the fastest in the championship in silver category behind him. Trying to do something about his own championship here to keep it alive going into next week at Sebring. Race 1 winners, Alan McCain and Nigel Stock, are still at the back of the pack here. Mike Reedner with the black flag directly ahead of Nigel Stock there. Stijn Weytens leads in the bronze category. Him and Jonathan Berry have plenty of wins to their name this season. Jonathan Berry relatively part-time in this season, but has 3 wins to his name this season, and Stijn Weytens has 4. And championship leader heading into tonight and this race, Oliver Forsström, is there in 8th place, trying to get up into 7th place past Andrew Allen. And so far so good. Into the chicane, Forsström's through into 7th place. Mark Sykes trying to get past Andrew Allen. A very daring move through the chicane there, but Mark Sykes has made it work. And look at that big move there from Kozielek, and that causes Mark Sykes to go around and into the traffic. That's a big incident, may have been caused by Kozielek then. Let's just get another shot of it. It was a great move from Mark Sykes before that, and now scuppered. with a huge dive bomb. Just look at this. It's Mark Sykes on the outside, and there comes Kozielek. Takes out the pair of... Well, not takes out, but takes out Mark Sykes, who then takes out other drivers in turn. That's a bit of a naughty incident there. We will have to carry on. Now Phil McDougall has passed Stephen Fry. Whilst we were watching the battle take place in the bronze category. And here's how it got done. This is a move into the chicane, it seems. It looks like a mistake heading out that past corner for Stephen Fry, and to the inside goes Phil McDougall. And through he goes. Stephen Fry can't really prevent that. And Phil McDougall is checking out a little bit here. Stephen Fry just ahead of Brandon Vincent-Squibb. But a bad exit again from the same corner as the previous lap for Stephen Fry. Squibb is through into second place. Matthew Cheverton with a good start to this race, up to fourth place. Might be able to replicate the podium from the previous race, who knows. Now at the front of the gold category right now is Jack Pittas, ahead of Ben Altria. Now Ben Altria has multiple race wins to his name in Next Gen Racing. None this season. No, none this season. But in past seasons he has. Jack Pittas, no wins to his name in Next Gen Racing. So far so good for him. And with the other drivers back here, squabbling amongst themselves. That's good news for Jack Pittas. Fast lap of the race just then from Phil McDougall. He's checked out a little bit as Brandon Vincent-Squibb, we saw just a moment ago, past Stephen Fry. Meanwhile, in the bronze category, Stijn Weytens still leads, just ahead of Jonathan Berry in second. In third place is Rob Savage. It is a Mission R123, which we have seen multiple times in this season and in Next Gen in general. Championship leader Oliver Forsström, 7th place. A lot of points lost to Stijn Weytens in this race, but overall in the night, it's not looking too bad for Oliver Forsström, and he may well head into next week still leading the championship as things stand. And this is the battle for the lead of the race, which we haven't given much attention so far, but it's Tordok at the back. In the middle is Altria, and at the front is Jack Pittas. Third in the championship heading into tonight. Race 1 didn't go so well for Pittas. He was caught up in that instant. The pile up on lap 1. But this race is about redemption. And look at this battle back here as well. Jamie Dory heading the pack here that goes back to William Guthrie in 9th. Fast lap of the race for Tordok just then. Gaz Williams guard the inside from Adam Wilson-Weir. No moves yet from any of these gold category drivers. But there's 3 Next Gen drivers in there. 1 Mission R, 1 Full Tilt, and 1 Quatermass driver. Nice collective of colour in that battle. Puff of smoke there. Might have been from one of these gold drivers. Might have been from something else. Now the thing is, with a track like this, is the undercut quite powerful here. So when it comes to pit stops later on in the race, we have seen throughout this season in the feature races that going long has traditionally been better. We saw Nigel Stock actually had to make 2 pit stops last week, but still won the feature race. That's how quick he was in the feature race last time out. I think that's Harry Langford past Adam Wilson-Weir, and Ben McCluskey making the move on Adam Wilson-Weir. Welcome to the gold category again, Adam Wilson-Weir. But you know what? He's done so well this season. Really thrown in the deep end with the quick pass up to gold category. And you know what? If he was put in silver category, undeniably would have been battling for silver category championship this season, I reckon. Now, McCluskey has to be careful. He is trying to get past Adam Wilson-Weir, but he's vulnerable to William Guthrie at the same time, who's just sneaking to the inside of McCluskey. Oh, and contact between the three! They've all come together! Oh, and somehow McCluskey's able to keep it going, and Guthrie has somehow kept it out of the wall. But Wilson-Weir is off the track here. Oh, no, Guthrie's hit the wall, and he's lost his rear wing. Oh, he can't rejoin in front of the traffic either. This is really stressful for him. But McCluskey carries on. He would have got minimal damage from that. Now, let's watch that from up close above. Guthrie got to the inside. I think he had the right to be there, but McCluskey, look at that. He's trying... he makes a little bit of contact with Adam Wilson-Weir, and it pings him right a little bit, and that causes Guthrie to spin into the pair of them. They were all so close together, and they couldn't seem to get further apart. It's a very difficult instant to call, that one. I don't say it's a racing incident. I don't think there's such thing as a racing incident. That's just my principles. But that looked like a very close one indeed. Hard to apportion blame. McCluskey carries on. Got away with it, it must be said. But his championship rival is up ahead here. It's Langford. He's caught back up to Gaz Williams. He's got Jamie Dory ahead. So Harry Langford has a good opportunity to get into 4th place here. And perhaps work on catching up with his teammate, who's leading this race right now. Silver category, meanwhile, McDougall's checking out a little bit, much quicker than Brandon Vincent-Squibb, but Brandon Vincent-Squibb won't mind. At this point, the way things stand right now, I am fairly sure, always an asterisk next to whenever I say any of these things, Brandon Vincent-Squibb will be the champion of silver category as things stand, and likewise with McCluskey in gold, despite what has happened. Now, it might be post-race call that might see McCluskey guilty for that incident we just saw. I don't actually know. That's not what I'm speculating, but there'll be an asterisk next to everything tonight when it comes to calling these championship results. Now, Stephen Fry's struggling a little bit here. The BMW perhaps not suiting this track. I never enjoyed driving the BMW around this track. But he's down to 5th place now. Jason Raff in 4th place. He's trying to keep hold of 3rd in the championship. So far, he's doing all right to do that. He lost a few points to Alan McCain in the previous race, but he's got himself to the inside of Matthew Cheverton here. He's going to try for 3rd place. Cheverton is not easy to pass, if my experience of watching Next Gen has told me anything. Now, he's had to relinquish that as Jason Raff. He had to take a late entry into that corner. He's back into 4th place. Cheverton hangs on to 3rd for now. Bronze category. Very close between Weytens and John Berry, but John Berry will know that Stijn Weytens is going for a championship. Will he battle with him? Don't say Papaya Rules. Papaya Rules potentially at Mission R. Jonathan Berry might just help Weytens out here. But Oliver Forsström's up to 6th place here. In terms of points lost in this race, not too many to Weytens, as much as Weytens lost to Forsström in the first race. Quite cloudy above us here at the Nürburgring. I do wonder if we'll see rain. It is a very, very rainy region of Germany that we're in, the West Germany region, near Frankfurt, Cologne, Dortmund, etc. Pittas still leads this race, but in actual fact, it's not a huge lead to this pack here of Langford and Gaz Williams, who are both potential race winners if they get the opportunity. It's been a while since Gaz Williams has won a race in this series. I think the last time he's won a race was the Prototypes, which would have been season 5. Langford is yet to win a race this season, but last season he won at round 9 last season, which I'm trying to remember what round that was. I think it might have been Mosport he won a race last season. It might have been. But Langford doesn't win many races, but he's always in there. In the top 3 in the championship, always going for it. Consistent point scorer is him and his teammate Jack Pittas. Very consistent, high-scoring team. And look at this. Ben Outro all over the rear of Jack Pittas then decides not to go for the move. We see this from gold category. They don't risk the moves because they're so tightly knit together that it's difficult to go for late lunging moves, because they're all on the fine edge of what they can do with these cars, with these fixed setups. Oh, Jason Raff. Oh, that's Matthew Cheverton facing the wrong way at the Dunlop curve. And this is him side by side with Raff heading out of the Ford curve. It gets close there. It gets close again. And it gets even closer. Oh, Raff just avoided the apex a little bit then. There was netcode. And now we got Cheverton back into the thick of the battle. But this is with Nigel Stock now. And this is for 9th place. Contact again. And Cheverton loses another place. Down to 10th he goes. The driver who was battling for the championship last season in silver category has been a bit of a part-timer this season, so hasn't been able to fight for it. This race has not been good to him so far. Twardog is up into second here. Lunging move on Ben Altria just then. Here's how it got done. And we'll quickly resume with that battle. Just goes for it. Now Altria avoids it. I think he purposely decided, you know what, I'm going to let him have that. You have a go at trying to pass Pittas in front of us. But Twardog, new to the series, doing well. Getting his elbows out, getting involved, getting stuck in. It's good to see. Right now, he's battling for the lead of the race. Now Jason Raff continues in 3rd place here. There'll be the question mark of that incident previously on his shoulders after the race. Jason Raff going for 3rd in the championship, as we mentioned. He's fighting with Alan McCain for that. Alan McCain's back here in 7th, slowly plugging away. But the winner of the sprint race might be a tall order to win this race, because Phil McDougall has checked out at the front, and Vincent-Squibb likewise from 2nd place. Bronze category, we have got Mission R123, but looking to spoil that at the moment is Gabriele Papaconstantino, right behind Rob Savage. But as we switch to the gold category, this is Gaz Williams making his way past Jamie Dory. And Jamie Dory's trying to get into the between them and guard his position from Harry Langford, or take it back from Gaz Williams. That looked like what he's trying to do here. But Langford's going to sneak to the inside of Jamie Dory here. And might he be able to get in front around the next corner? He's going to have the outside for the next 2 corners, which is not going to be in favour of the Quatermass driver. But he's powered it out of the corner rather well there. But this corner, he's got to keep it tight to the outside. Back to the inside, still side by side. And they're going to continue going into the next corner, the Valvoline curve. But Jamie Dory's trying to force it back in front. But no, they're still side by side until now, as Jamie Dory resumes in 5th. But all that battling would have slowed them down. And look who is appearing just behind here. Benji McCluskey gaining back on his championship rival. Top 3 unchanged again. Oh, as Harry Langford back alongside Jamie Dory. Sorry, we just cut away there. And there we go, he's through. Wow, that happened unexpectedly and quick. I wonder if there was a mistake from Jamie Dory. Whoa, big dive there. But actually a very good exit from Harry Langford. That actually worked out very, very well. A mistake turned into an opportunistic overtake, and round the outside at the Schumacher S. That's a very well executed move from Harry Langford in the end. Be one of the finer overtakes tonight. That will go with Wesley Lewin's move in race 1, where he overtook 2 in one go at turn 1. It's between them two. Oliver Forsström making the move on Dirk Wagner for 5th position. Here's how it happened. Go through the Schumacher S, and then the next corner His Michelin curve. Goes for the dive, and there we go. In front. Dirk Wagner might have actually broke quite early for that corner. Oh, no! Whoa, somehow they've all got away with it. But you know what? Oliver Forsström decides, yo, I'm going into the pits now. Wow, that was a seriously close one. There was the two Akuri Col d'Osseur drivers, Dirk Wagner and Jochen Siegert. Now, as we go through the chicane, not great lines from either of them through that corner. But then contact's made. Wagner avoids the wall. I don't know if that's going to be an unsafe pit entry from Oliver Forsström, though. That's the thing. We'll have to keep an eye on it. We'll see when he leaves the pits if he gets a black flag. But you know what? That might help out Stijn Weytens here, as now he's forced to take an unscheduled stop. Or as that's a spin from Dirk Wagner. The last few minutes have not been kind to him. Oliver Forsström now leaving the pits. Will he get a black flag as he leaves the pits? We'll see it on the timing screen. You know what? I think he's got away with that. I think he has got away with that. So he'll have to be conservative on fuel for the remainder of the race now. Oh, and that's a spin from Jamie Dorey. Side by side between him and McCluskey. Oh, there was a big amount of net code there. And another one there. McCluskey's involved in all the incidents here. But there was huge net code when that happened. There's Dorey now contending here with Phil McDougall, who leads the silver category. McCluskey involved in a lot of incidents so far tonight. In this race, anyway. But there will be... And he might secure the championship on points tonight, but penalties after the race, if he gets any, might affect things, so yeah. Right, this is a very close battle at the top of the gold category. Pittas, Tordog and Altria. Now the battle between these three will probably end up coming down to something like pit stops at some point when they do decide to pit. Now it normally is around about the 28-minute mark, 30-minute mark, depending how far you can take the car fuel-wise. Bad exit from the Hyundai curve there. This might well be a move from Ben Altria. Torgdot goes to the fence straight away, but Altria is not going to bother. I think what Ben Altria is trying to do is save fuel behind these two. He knows we can keep up. And he might be saving fuel in the slipstream of the two drivers ahead. Because we know from this series now that going long is the better strategy, or has been the better strategy this season. Jamie Dorey in the gold category is in the pits now. Race winner in silver category from race 1. Alan McCain is in 7th place here. He's behind Wojciech Kurb, trying to get him into 6th place. And our race 1 winner from gold category is currently down in 8th place. Now he's back on track. He's had a stop. And he's in front of Jamie Dorey, so it hasn't gone that bad, although Jamie Dorey's had a few spins as well. William Guthrie, who was missing a rear wing at one point, now has a fast repair. It's magically put his car back together. He can now focus on getting some good laps. So we'll see how William Guthrie gets on later on in the race. commanding lead for Phil McDougall at the front of silver category. He is quicker than Brandon Vincent-Squibb, but Vincent-Squibb across the season has been the one to score more points on a consistent basis, and that's why at this point he could be heading out of tonight as a championship winner. Now, Ben Outra has dropped off a little bit from the cars ahead. And Gaz Williams is lurking in behind, likewise with Harry Langford. Oh, that's a spin. There we go. That will not help out Outra at all as he brushes the wall there. Won't cause too much damage, but what was looking like a good race, and Ben Outra has just gone away from a little bit there, losing it round the corner. And the thing is, there's such low downforce on these setups that these cars are very difficult to hang on to. You're almost like driving them from the rear at all times. This is Nigel Stock and Alan McCain right behind Wojciech Kurp. Flash of lights there from Alan McCain, trying to put off the Norwegian driver ahead of them. And I think in the next few minutes we are going to start seeing pit stops rolling in. The scheduled pit stops anyway. There's a couple of people who've gone off peak a little bit. And one of them will be Wojciech Kurp right now. He decides to pit now. Now this does allow Alan McCain and Nigel Stock to break away and get some free laps together. Matthew Cheverton behind them as well. He'll be towed along by the two ahead. But what these two will want is some good laps and to be able to catch up to Makoda and Fry up ahead, and maybe even Jason Raff in third place. Raff and McCain battling for third place in the championship tonight and next week. As we mentioned, next week we're at Sebring for the final round, and it's a singular 2-hour endurance event. No qualifying. The grid is formed by the championship order, but reversed. Oh, we have got a swap potentially. Twardok is ahead now of Jack Pittas. So something's happened to Jack Pittas there. That's caused the swap. Either that or Twardok has made the move. Good exit there from the fourth curve. Goes to the outside for Dunlop. Brakes much later. Around the outside he goes. That's a very daring move, and is able to get it back on the throttle. That's a really good move for Twardok there. We've seen 3 great moves tonight. One of them from Pittas, one of them just then from Twardok, and we saw Wesley Lewin earlier on in the night. 3 great candidates for overtake of the night. And that's Twardok taking back the lead of the race. Now Jack Pittas goes into the pits. He might have had enough of his tyres. It's a very, very intensive track on the tyres. And he might well decide, you know what, I'm going to get them swapped now. But Twardok leads, clear track around him. At least until maybe Gaz Williams catching him up. No other drivers in the pits just yet. No one in the silver category has come into the pits. Bronze category drivers are staying out so far as well. They're all able to get to the half-an-hour point, which is the halfway point in this race. Fuel tanks can be refilled to higher than what you start with. There are a couple of bronze category drivers in the pits. Rob Savage and Jochen Seeger are in the pits. And now as we approach halfway in this race, leader of this race only started racing with us a few rounds ago, but Craig Tordock leads it at the halfway point. Another driver in the pits then. That was Mark Sykes heading into the pits just then, but going into the pits now are the gold category drivers of Gaz Williams, Harry Langford and Benji McCluskey. So it'll be interesting to see where they come out relative to the likes of William Guthrie, Alan Wilson-Weir, Jack Pittas. That's Guthrie, not too far behind Jack Pittas actually. So William Guthrie's not doing too bad in the state of things, if he has indeed put enough fuel and taken his scheduled pit stop. Which he has. Whether it's enough fuel to get to the end is another thing though. So Pittas will come through on the start-finish straight there, but heading out of the pits is Harry Langford, Gaz Williams, McCluskey, and here comes Jack Pittas. This hasn't worked out for Pittas. And actually, might not work out for Craig Tordock either. But it seems he might have been in the box a bit longer, was Jack Pittas, and it hasn't worked out for him. He's ended up behind everyone he was in front of. And he wasn't in the pits for as long. So it really hasn't worked out for Jack Pittas there. Now, a lot of drivers have gone into the pits. Phil McDougall, Jason Raff, Brandon Vincent-Squibb. Brandon Vincent-Squibb has come back out behind Jason Raff. So I just wonder if there are drivers. I just wonder if the amount of fuel they can take on, well, the amount of fuel they need to take on is teetering on one lap or the other. And I wonder if that's being the difference, because it takes ages to fill up the tanks in these cars. So 1 lap difference is a lot of time. Tordock's in the pits, so is Ben Altria. Alan McCain, he'll head into the pits as well. So will Nigel Stock. So that would be the majority of the grid pitted once these 4 have been through. They've managed to save the most fuel. It means that they don't have to take on as much fuel because they've got less laps remaining in the race. Langford heads round the final corner. Craig Tordock back out on the track. And Tordock still leads this race. Very well done from him. Langford's in second place, so that's a good couple of laps there for Harry Langford. Got himself into a great position in this race now. Phil McDougall carries on leading this race. Raff is there in second from Brandon Vincent-Squibb. Nigel Stock rejoins the race. He's behind Cheverton, who's managed to get the jump on them too. And the 3 Crest Autosport drivers line abreast here. That's Benji McCluskey in 4th place. His championship rivals up ahead. Now it'll be interesting to see where these 2 finish and what that'll do for the championship. I am fairly sure that Harry Langford in this race needs to outscore McCluskey by it's either 5 points or 7 points to keep things going to next week. But even then, you'll need a bit of luck and to win next week as well to add to that. But undeniably, good race so far from Craig Tordock. We just compare pit time there in the box for 20 seconds for Tordock. Langford 20 seconds as well. A little bit longer in the box was Gaz Williams and Benji McCluskey, so they've taken on probably a little bit more fuel. In the silver category, Jason Raff has taken on a lot less fuel, so 2 seconds less, which is quite a bit of fuel, and that's what's given him second place in this race potentially. And this is how close they are now. Raff in second, Vincent-Squibb in second. And that's Jamie Dory of the gold category just behind them. Can fight with them even though they're in different categories. Stijn Weytens in the bronze category has also had a good round of pit stop as well. He's now 6 seconds clear of his teammate John Berry and holds the lead in the race, whilst his championship rival Oliver Forsström's down in 5th place, you can see there. So the bronze category is going to continue to be close going into next week. And the beauty about the endurance rounds ending this championship is that each position down to as far as 8th, I believe it is, or 9th, each position is separated by 5 championship points. So each position you get in the endurance races is big points, and equally each position you lose is a big loss. And that's what makes the endurance round so exciting. There's a 2-hour race, and when you're at the top of the championship and you start at the back of the grid, it's quite nerve-wracking. It means you have to really plan your race and be in top form as championship leader in your category. Meanwhile, Gaz Williams, a bad exit there from the final corner. McCluskey takes to the inside, and this will get McCluskey into the top 3 and just 1 place behind Harry Langford, his championship rival. He's through. Now William Guthrie is down in 9th place. A long way back from the pack due to his incident earlier on, involved with McCluskey and Adam Wilson-Weir. Wilson-Weir is just a few metres up the road here, as you can see. Going wide there was Jason Raff. That's going to lose him a bit of time too. Brandon Vincent-Squibb behind him. And we are nearing the 2/3 point in this race. Not many battles out there on the track. There's a couple of close fights. Langford has actually got extremely close to Tordock in the last lap or so. It was 2 seconds just a moment ago, but Tordock has lost a lot of time. Leading this race, 22 minutes to go. Has got to hold off Langford. Was able to fight with and hold off Jack Pittas, his teammate, but Langford is a different kettle of fish. A championship contender, 2 years on the trot technically. 2 seasons on the trot, should I say. And Langford joined us in season 6. And within his first couple of races was contending for wins, but the elusive championship has eluded him. But we'll see with next season when that comes along. No move just yet from Langford, but he is looking around. He wants to get past Tordock so that he can pull away from McCluskey. That'll be what he's keen to do as soon as possible. But next season will be next year, presumably. Nigel Stock has just got himself in front of Matthew Cheverton. This is how he's done it. Oh, half spin there for Cheverton. He gets it back under control, but it will lose the position to Nigel Stock as a result. Nigel Stock now in 5th place. But this is the battle for the lead of the race, the overall race and the gold category. Langford, who's yet to win a race this season. Twardog, who's yet to win a race at all in Next Gen. Oh, he's guarding the inside. That really looked like a move that Langford could have got, but now going wide at the exit of the Hyundai curve. Twardog pulls back across to guard the inside going into the hairpin, and while all this is happening between them, McCluskey is closing in. That is not what Langford wanted. He wanted an easy pass. He wanted to be able to pull away from McCluskey. But you know what? Twardog is really hanging on to this rather well. Oh, as Langford has to swerve to avoid. That's going to bring in McCluskey. He's hot on their heels now. Gaz Williams might even join in if things continue. Now it's a 3-way battle for first place. Could go as far as 6 if it really, really does heat up even more, because there's not much time between any of these drivers in the top 6. Ben Outra and Jack Pittas could find themselves back in this battle for the lead. And that'll be why Langford wants to get this done sooner rather than later, and the more people are involved in it, the less chance he'll have. No move like what he attempted previously, and in the silver category, Brandon Vincent-Squibb has moved past Jason Raff. Oh, it's a mistake from Raff, and that was very good avoidance there from Brandon Vincent-Squibb. Just puts his foot down and moves round the outside. No move from Langford. Going into turn 1. McCluskey right on the rear of this as well. He'll just be waiting for Langford to make a mistake ahead. Langford now can't go for risky overtakes, because that puts him at risk to losing out to McCluskey. McCluskey knows that he holds the hand. He now knows that he holds the better hand in this race. Twardog's done well, though, to hang on to this. One of the only Ferraris in the field. There's only 3 in the field today. Normally we've got Stefan Wessels in the Ferrari representing the Italian mark. Twardog's having to defend this here. Langford's a lot closer. What about exiting the chicane? Ben Outra has passed Jack Pittas for 5th place, further back there. We'll just stay with this. Guards the inside. This is how Ben Outra passed Jack Pittas. Makes the move at the inside of the chicane. Nice move there from Ben Altrue in the Aston Martin. These three super close still. It's getting quite dark here at the Nürburgring. I think it's sunset right now. I haven't really paid attention to the time of day in the sim. Does mean the track will cool. The times will get quicker as well with that. Nigel Stock has had an incident in silver category. I think he's had an incident in the Mercedes arena. Here's Matthew Cheverton behind him. Oh, rear-ended shunt there from Matthew Cheverton. Oh, he just about avoids his teammate, does Nigel Stock. And that sends him down 2 places. 3 places actually. He's behind Stephen Fry now. This is super close. McCluskey's right on the rear of Langford as well. No move. Gaz Williams is closing in bit by bit, lap by lap. Oh, nearly making the dummy was Langford, but Tordox defended that rather well. Less than a quarter of the race to go. Oh, and there is contact. I thought it was a move from Langford, but it is contact on the rear of Tordock, and round he goes. What does Langford do? Does he back off? I don't think he is. He's got the he's thinking about the championship here. He's just thought, I'm just going to carry on. But let's just get an above view of that. It did look like that Langford was going for the inside, and I was right. I'm afraid to say I would not say Langford has got the inside there. It's a shame it had to come that way, but Langford carries on leading this race. McCluskey just behind. There's been quite a few eyebrow-raising incidents in this goal category tonight. But these three will now battle for the race win. Tordog has carried on. He's in 6th place, but quite a way back from the pack now. Now, back in the bronze category, we haven't seen to them for a little while. Oliver Forsström here is in 5th place, looking at Rob Savage just ahead. Another place here for Oliver Forsström will help in the championship. In this situation they're in, where they're quite far away from each other on the standings, in the race standings, as many overtakes and points you can get is good. That's what Forsström needs, but Rob Savage, don't forget, is teammates with Stijn Weytens, so he'll do what he can to hold up Oliver Forsström here. But 2 seasons ago, Quetemas had their last championship winner in Ben Bennyworth in the silver category. This season they may have a bronze category champion in Oliver Forsström in his first season with Next Gen Racing. But it's going to be straight up between him and Stijn Weytens next week, and you've got to say Stijn Weytens is the one in great form in terms of pace, pure pace. Luck wasn't in his favour in race 1. As the incident, he could not avoid it. And it sent him on his roof. Close battles elsewhere on the track. Alan McCain catching up with Matthew Cheverton. We've got Jason Raff, close-ish, within a second of Brandon Vincent-Squibb. We've also got Ben McCluskey closing in on Harry Langford ahead. The two championship protagonists battling for the win in this race. I do feel like the way things are right now, McCluskey will take the championship tonight, unless any penalties come his way after the race. Back to bronze category. Oliver Forsström fairly close to Rob Savage, but no move yet. He's got to pick it carefully. Rob Savage, whether he's thinking it right now or not, I know I would be in his place right now, but it's, you're either going to take me out and give yourself a penalty, or you're going to make a good pass. And he's going to go for it into the chicane here. Nope, wasn't able to brake late enough. He's lost a bit of ground as a result, but stays in 5th place. He wants it though, he wants the extra position, he's thinking about it, he's thinking about the points he needs. Other battles, McCluskey right behind Langford. Matthew Cheverton is closing in on Bartosz Makoda. Bartosz Makoda actually in the silver category is the last person to win an endurance round. He won at Daytona for round 6. So heading into Sebring next week, he's the most recent winner in an endurance in the silver category. But here we go for the gold category. McCluskey's got himself alongside on the outside, heading into turn number 1. But can he keep it round the outside? They did come together a little bit there, but you know what? McCluskey might have done this. He's got the inside for 2. He's going to have the inside for 3, and he's got his nose ahead. Is Langford going to be later on the brakes? He's not. McCluskey is through. The championship leader who can win the championship tonight has taken the lead of this race. And surely it's going to put one hand on the trophy now. Langford has to fight back though. He's not going to give this up. Catching one thing, passing is another, defending it is the next. And Gaz Williams is lurking around back here as well, so is Ben Altria. So the more the two fight up ahead, the more it invites them other two in. Matthew Cheverton close to Bartosz Makoda, has got the outside for this next corner. He keeps it round the outside. And you know what? He's going to do it. Or is he? Or is he? Wow, Bartosz Makoda has kept that round the outside really well on a difficult corner there. But I feel like the inside for the next corner, it is Cheverton's, and I feel like it's going to go his way. Unless Makoda can get the undercut. No, which he doesn't. So that's Cheverton through into 4th place in the silvers. And Alan McCain might be able to work on a move on Bartosz Makoda very soon. Six minutes to go. It'll be approximately 3 or 4 laps. Our leaders are McCluskey in the golds, Phil McDougall in the silvers, and Stijn Weytens in the bronze category. 3 of the 6 championship contenders are leading this race. 2 of them are second in the championships and chasing. But you know what? We've been mentioning McCluskey quite a lot the last few moments. We've got to mention Brandon Vincent-Squibb as well. He's 2 seconds off of Phil McDougall, but you know what? It might still be enough. If the first race was anything to go by, where McDougall, with the drive-through penalty, lost a lot of places. If it hadn't have happened, we might be thinking about a different scenario here where the championship, will be taken to Sebring. But right now, I'm not entirely sure if it is. It's the final round for a drop round, so if you're going to have your bogey round, now's your last chance to have one. Oliver Forsström still hunting down Robert Savage, can't find a way past him. With less than 5 minutes to go now. Couple of back markers ahead. McCluskey will want to navigate through these safely and soundly. Frantically flashing the lights there to make sure the driver gets out of the way. That is Jaroslav Pataluk, who gets out of the way by going on the gravel. Not a good entrance into that chicane there from Alan McCain. But he seems to be a bit quicker than Bartosz Makoda up ahead. Might be able to plan a move for an additional position. But it's points lost to Jason Raff, which McCain wouldn't want in reference to the fight for third in the championship. As we've mentioned a few times, Sebring next week. Join us at 20 minutes to 8 UK time next week. Here on Next Gen Racing, YouTube and Facebook, to catch the action as it happens live. More championship positions to be decided. Some championships might well be decided in the next 3 minutes. But there will still be the bronze category championship, there'll still be the teams championship, and there'll still be the likes of second and third in other categories. And plus, the endurance races are very fun. Lots of varying strategies, lots of battling, lots of drama. Daytona last time out did have a lot of drama. But Langford might know at this point the championship is slipping away. But you know what? Can be very proud of a very, very well-deserved second place in this championship. No race wins either, and contending with drivers all around him who have won races, multiple race wins this season. But he has just plucked away at the points every round. Now, weirdly, Brandon Vincent-Squibb has started to close in on Phil McDougall here. It's down to 1.5 seconds. It was about 2.5, 3 seconds not too long ago. So I wonder if Phil McDougall is emergency saving fuel at this point, which we have seen him do, I think. I think it's him I'm thinking of. Not many more corners to go. Next time they drive by the start-finish line, it will be the white flag they see. A little bit of dust kicked up there from McCluskey, but nothing to worry about really. It's all in control. And this will be, if it ends like this, a 4th win of the season for Benji McCluskey. He will equal with Guthrie, Vessels and Dominic Pester for most wins this season. So between the 4 of them, well, can the 4 of them make it 5 with an endurance win next week? The white flag is out for Benji McCluskey. And Matthew Cheverton has got a meatball flag. Whoa, that is a beaten up Aston Martin there. So something serious has happened to him. What's been a pretty strong night for Matthew Cheverton. Oh, there's a car in front of him. Oh, and he turns in too much. I think that was Bartosz Makoda coasting on the inside. But that's going to be a meatball flag. He's going to have to nurse it back to the pits. And look at this. Harry Langford is trying desperately on this final lap here. But he couldn't make it. He's running out of corners. He's trying desperately to get a win, to get a sniff at trying for the championship next week. If you've watched these Thursday night races enough, you'll know what happened last season. I very much assume that McCluskey checks his internet connection every single night before racing as a result. And you know what? It might be stable enough, touch wood, because McCluskey might well be points dependent, and it was a last gasp effort there from Langford, but it couldn't quite happen for him. McCluskey might well have done it. He might well have secured the championship, taking it back, getting the number one back on his door. McCluskey comes through as winner tonight, and potentially the championship winner of Season 8. Silver category, however, Phil McDougall will come through with another win under his belt this season. He just about had enough gas to get to the end, and he finishes ahead of Brandon Vincent-Squibb, who may have secured the championship tonight. Second place in this race, but he might have secured the championship. We'll have to find out after the race. And of course, there's post-race penalties that also have to be considered. That's for both McCluskey and Brandon Vincent-Squibb, but both of them might have secured the championship tonight. Well, that's gold and silver, maybe done and dusted. The two line up in unison. Great racing between the two of them. And we now look to bronze category. A bit of a battered and bruised front end on that Lamborghini there. But Stijn Weytens takes a chunk out of the championship lead, potentially, from Forsström in that race. But the bronze category is very much on, heading into next week. And that is Stijn Weytens' first feature race win of the season and his fifth win this season. That's 4 wins this season for Benji McCluskey in gold category, 2 of which have come from feature races. 3 feature race wins for Phil McDougall in silver category, and 6 race wins in total. And the bronze category, as I mentioned, Stijn Weytens now on 5 wins, his first in the feature race tonight. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to see what happens with the championship situation. I'm eagerly awaiting for the points to update, but let's just have confirmation of our provisional race results from tonight in the gold category. Benji McCluskey wins the race and maybe the championship as well. Harry Langford, second place in the championship potentially as well. The second race in this tonight. Gaz Williams back on the podium. Third place for him tonight ahead of Ben Altria, 4th position. Jack Pittas 5th from Craig Tweldock, who led a lot of the race today, 6th. William Guthrie, an instant earlier on, put him out of contention for the win tonight. He is in 7th, but he won the sprint race earlier on. Adam Wilson-Weir in 8th, followed by Jamie Dory, a DNF for him. Silver category, it's a win for Phil McDougall in the silver category, just over a second ahead of potential championship winner Brandon Vincent-Squibb in 2nd position. Jason Raff, 3rd position from Bartosz Makoda in 4th. Alan McCain, the sprint race winner, is 5th. Nigel Stock in 6th position. And it's a crest 5, 6, 7 with Stephen Fry in 7th. Matthew Addy in 8th with Wojciech Kurp in 9th. And rounding off the top 10 is Paul Williams. Mike Reedner 11th. And a lap or more down, we saw the incident for Matthew Cheverton is 12th. Wesley Lewin 13th. And DNF for Mark Baker. Stijn Weytens takes the win in bronze category. Another win for him this season, in terrific form at the moment. And he's ahead of his teammate Jonathan Berry in 2nd place. A good haul of points for them in this feature race. That's nearly as many points as a team can score tonight in that feature race for them. Gabriel Papaconstantino back on the podium in 3rd place with Robert Savage in 4th position. Oliver Forsström, leader of the championship in bronze category. Let's see how things look heading into next week with him there in 5th. Jochen Seeger, 6th position from Kurt van Honecker, the sprint race winner in 7th. A lap or more down were Matt Gatter, Josh Down, Mark Sykes, Fabian Kozielek, and multiple laps down Andrew Allen, Jaroslav Pataluk, Dirk Wagner, and Sami Araba. We do have an update on the championship standings. In the gold category, Benji McCluskey does lead the championship by, do the maths, 63 points, which means that barring any penalties, Benji McCluskey is your championship winner in gold category. Harry Langford, 2nd position. He's got quite a gap over William Guthrie, 23 points. It can be decided that at Sebring, so William Guthrie, barring anything bad happening to Langford, a bad race for him, William Guthrie can take that away. But William Guthrie has taken 3rd place from Jack Pittas, just 2 points behind. But then positions still to be up for grabs next week at Sebring. Silver category. It's not enough. 51 points between Brandon Vincent-Squibb and Phil McDougall, which means it's a bit of a tall order, but Phil McDougall will need to win next week and get fastest lap, and Brandon Vincent-Squibb will have to DNF next week for it to go to Phil McDougall, but it is still on. There is no championship decided yet in silver category. There's also penalties that to be considered as well, if there are any to come to either of those drivers. Jason Rath, 3rd position, just 4 points ahead of Alan McCain as we head into next week. 3rd place, well and truly on between those two drivers, and actually them two still have a shot at 2nd place in category. And in the bronze category, it's still 5 points between Oliver Forsström and Stijn Weytens. They scored exactly the same amount of points tonight. So there's 5 points between them heading into next week. And realistically, it's whoever finishes higher of the two of them will take the championship. Rob Savage in 3rd place and Sami Araba close to each other, 7 points apart. So 3rd place very much between them two as Rob Savage takes 3rd place tonight from Sami Araba. And in the team's championship, Quatermass have a 10-point gap over Mission R, who they scored lots of points tonight with Brandon Vincent-Squibb, Stijn Weytens and Jonathan Berry all getting podiums tonight in their respective categories. Quatermass Motorsport also, Jack Pittas and Harry Langford, strong points for them, and Oliver Forsström, 2 of those drivers getting podiums tonight. So there we go, it's championship situation. Gold is all but decided, barring any penalties. The silver will go to next week. Again, barring any any penalties. Okay, so we might have, in fact we do have, some interviews lined up for us. So we're going to go back to the start of this race, get a replay, and we are going to chat to our feature race winner in bronze category first of all, once we've got this race going. But yeah, first of all, we're going to chat to Stijn Weytens in the bronze category. Stijn Weytens joins us in the comms booth. Mission R driver in the bronze category, fighting for the championship for next week. But Stijn, welcome to the comms booth. Feature race winner there, and it's 5 points between you and Oliver heading into next week. It's all to be done next week. So initially, just tell us how you're feeling about that race tonight.
Yeah, I'm quite happy with it. It's my first feature race win tonight. Lucky I got got upside down in the sprint race, so I lost a lot of points there to gain on Oliver. But yeah, next week will be an exciting race. So like you said, the one who finish in front of each other will take the championship.
Exactly, yeah, yes. So, look, you're in fine form at the moment, Stijn, so looking pretty good tonight, albeit a few nerves maybe for next week, but you're in such good form as we mentioned at the moment. What's been the turning point this season? Because all of a sudden it seems like a switch has been flicked and your pace has just rocketed up. So, what has it been that's changed that this season?
Yeah, basically got more consistent, I think. I've changed nothing to my setup or anything else. We do a lot of playing with Mission R Type 2 in the week to gain our pace. So I think that helped me a lot during the season. In the beginning of the season I made a couple of mistakes which lost a lot of points, especially on Daytona. I made a big mistake crashing into Mark Sykes when I was in the lead. But yeah, second half of the season has been very good for me.
So let's talk about next week then. We've got Sebring coming up next week. Now, big event for you. Potentially your first championship in Next Gen. And your first season with Mission R as well. You might be able to bring them a championship. So how are you feeling about next week? Are you feeling confident or...
Yeah, I feel confident. I just was talking to my teammates. Tomorrow evening we are going for a long weekend. So I basically have only one day to do some training for Sebring, but I already know the track a bit from the hot stints in the beginning of the season, so I'm quite confident. I'm a quick learner if it comes to tracks, so I have a good view on it.
Good to see. So it's going to be very exciting next week. I can't wait for it. A nice championship battle next week. So yeah, we'll leave it there, Stijn. We'll leave you get practicing for next week, but the floor is yours. Give a shout out to anyone who might be watching the broadcast tonight.
Thank you very much, Alex. Good evening. Bye.
Thank you. No shout out to anyone, never mind. But Stijn Weytens going for the championship next week. You know what? He could do it. He's in such good form at the moment. We'll see how Oliver Forsström responds next week at Sebring. They'll start side by side with one another in that endurance race at the back of the bronze pack. So it's going to be very nerve-wracking for the first few laps between them two, and very intense as well. But next, we're going to be joined in the comms booth by another Mission R driver, and one that made it a 1-2 in bronze category tonight, meaning they scored a lot of points tonight. But Jonathan Berry joins us in the comms booth. John, welcome back to Next Gen Racing. Welcome back to the comms booth. How are you, mate?
Thank you very much. I'm wonderful. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. So, yeah, not a bad night tonight, mate. Second place in that feature race, and the team scored a good amount of points, which means next week is on between you, Mission R, and Quatermass.
Yeah, it will be a nice thing to happen in the first season as the team, that we beat our old team, obviously. We've put in a lot of practice this season. I've had absolutely no practice for this round, considering I've been ill all of the last week. So to come away with a P2, I'm really happy.
Absolutely, yeah. Considering, well, it's very un-Mission R of you to not get much practice in, but maybe it should be Mission P for practice. Don't know, but quite impressive racing tonight, nonetheless. But not this season. It's a shame it's been a bit of a part-time affair, really, because there's been a lot of race wins for you this season. How are you feeling? Well, we don't know what's going on next season, but how are you feeling about next season? Is it one of those where you're going to get yourself on the grid a lot more to see how you can do next season? Because it really would have been a good shot for you this season, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think at the moment my plan is just to step away and do some stuff behind the scenes and progress the team through socials and gaining our sort of traction within the sim racing world. Obviously, to come away from this with a potentially 2 bronze championships over the last 2 seasons would be fantastic. So I think I'm at the moment my plan is to step away and just do some background work. But FOMO is a massive thing. I miss out a lot, and I get it really bad. So no doubt I'll probably be back, and I'll want to come for that championship next time round. But if Stijn does get pushed up, then great, I stand a good chance. But I'll have Oliver Forsström on my heels, no doubt. He's massively improved over the last 2 seasons. One with NXTGEN and one with ESR that I've seen him racing. He's done fantastically well to improve his pace. And yeah, it'll be a really exciting sort of match-up to really actually get side by side with him, because we haven't really had that this season. So yeah, it'll be really good.
So I've got a feeling you're not going to tell me, but how are you going to help your team out next week? Go on.
Honestly, Sebring is my least favourite track in any format. So if I can just run and put some points on the board to beat Quatermass, then I will do so. We only, as you said previously on the stream, we only need 10. So, and with the likes of Jack and Harry, it's quite difficult to put 10 on the board. We need a really, really good finish from all of our bronze drivers to, help us win the overall, which is incredibly doable.
It's very strange because you're in a battle outside of the battle, aren't you? Because their main protagonists in their team are in gold category and you're in bronze category, but how successful you are in each, it's not a direct battle, is it? It's a little bit strange, isn't it?
Yeah. So, like for instance, the outcome of tonight was I was never going to overtake Stijn. I was always going to be behind him, just to make sure that he recovered from the first race and put good points on the board. So we were communicating through the race. Are you saying, Johnny, you're coming past it? No, mate, I'm staying absolutely behind you. None of that papaya rules you mention each week. It's purely tactical to stay behind him and make sure that there is a gap between him and Ollie to maintain those points difference.
Fantastic stuff. Well, looking forward to next week. Good battle between Quatermass Motorsport and Mission R as the teams next week, but also the drivers next week, Oliver Forsström and Stijn Weytens. So tune in next week to catch that battle. But last of all, John, the floor is yours. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Just the entire team so far this season. You've been absolutely fantastic. You've put in the hard work and effort, and you're now paying for the rewards. So, the hard work pays off, as you can see. Look at Adam. Adam's a prime example. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, NXTGEN. Our sponsors, Mords, W Energy, Capture Athletics, Alien Mods, just to name a few. So yeah, thank you very much, and have a lovely evening and rest of the week, everybody.
Thank you very much, John. We'll see you next week. Good luck.
Cheers.
There we go. I don't think we got any more interviews, but we chatted to the 2 Mission R drivers. Next week, we'll get a chat with the Quatermass drivers, either one of them or some of them. But yeah, we're going to leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. That has been round 9 tonight at the Nürburgring, the Grand Prix circuit. Next, it's the final round. Sebring next week. A 2-hour endurance, a singular 2-hour endurance. And that'll crown our champions in silver category. Will it be Phil McDougall or Brandon Vincent-Squibb? I got a feeling it might be Brandon, but we'll see what happens. And in the bronze category, will it be Stijn Weytens or Oliver Forsström? And in the teams, will it be Mission R or will it be Quatermass? Let's find out next week. Tune in at 7:40 PM UK time next week on NXTGEN Racing YouTube or NXTGEN Racing Facebook to watch those battles take place as they happen live on this channel at NXTGEN Racing. But before we head off, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a shout out to our partner sponsors and affiliates that help put on the show here. PowerMax Racing, Mark Sykes Designs, Benji Sim Photos, Motorsport UK Esports, Sam Cases, Moser Racing, Joyce Design, Falconer PC and Doble Motorcycles. This has been NXTGEN Racing, the GT3 Season 8, the penultimate round of the season. Next week, join us for Sebring, the final round. I've been Alex Everett, your commentator. We'll see you in Florida next week, the Sunshine State, for the sun will set on our season here. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, that's all from us here at NXTGEN Racing, the home of clean and fair sim racing for all.